of out of your book, something that most of us don't know about uh, about the hidden treasure of being black.
Okay, one of the hidden treasures that a lot of people are not aware of is that the first battle won in the Korean War was by an African American unit, military unit. It was on July 19th, July 20th, the taking in Incheon, South Korea. The 157th Field Artillery Battalion, which was segregated, they're responsible for the victory during the Korean War. But during the 60th and now the 70th anniversary of the Korean War, the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, still haven't fully acknowledged that publicly.
Wow. Heavy. Selective credit, selective memory is all a sign of pure racism, and that's really maybe I shouldn't say it, but where is racism? Where does it stem from here in America? Anyone can answer.
Well, I think racism really, from my vantage point, stems from an inferiority complex. Anyone who has an inferior complex usually develops a mythology about themselves that they are superior to that which they feel that they are inferior. It's a defense mechanism, and so it helps to protect one's ego. And so that's my vantage point of where racism and white supremacy stem from.
So they really idolize secretly. They don't want to publicly. If you look at the movies like Roots, if you look at other media, and some things see on in life, don't want to talk to the black man. Don't want to give him an opportunity to be fair, but love our women, even from the slave ship.
Yeah,
keep your hands off.
Well,
Yeah.
And that's how I got my skin complex, because of multiple rapes in the barn. And you're right. They love our black men too, but they love them catching a ball on the field, and they love them in a ring beating each other to death. But they don't love them in the boardroom or in the business room. And so, as the scripture says, there's a time and a season for everything, because in the history of this nation, and even before, we talk about 1609, but even before then, there was trafficking, sex trafficking going on by Christopher Columbus. There's much documentation of Christopher Columbus in the 1400s.
Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. This is too much. Too much. This is scandalous conversation. Christopher Columbus, the great founder of discoverer of America, could not have been a sex trafficked slave, traitor. Come on, sir.
Yeah, and so that's the marketing and the psychological ops that's put out there, and it's quite effective. But the fact is that there's documented evidence that he had many indigenous girls taken back to Europe to be used for sex slaves. That's documented.
Oh, my God.
So just like Amerigo Vespucci and his will, you see in his will that he owned slaves. And so, once again, to be an American named after Amerigo Vespucci is to be a white supremacist. That's by definition.
So what we have today openly in the White House if he could own slaves, he would. He's actually I consider him to be a plague on America. But
actually, and I like that. I like that, Dr. Turner, a plague on America. But the fact is that he probably, by definition now, Americo Vespucci definition, he's probably the most American president in history. Americo Vespucci was a white supremacist. The gentleman that happens to occupy the White House is directly in line and in mind sync with Americo Vespucci. So he is truly a great American president if you look at it from that vantage point.
Well, there was one that you left out also, and that was Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, the one who segregated federal employees.
Exactly. He was worse than Trump, to be quite honest.
Yes, he was.
Just looking at his policies. But what I mean is that all 45 presidents, in order to be in the office, in order to describe yourself, and I fought for this nation as a United States Marine. I'm a service-connected disabled veteran.
Marine.
I always described myself as a citizen of the United States, not a great American, because that would mean that I'm a white supremacist by definition.
Well, interesting. So the suppression of the black vote, which is what I've looked at, being described by white journalists on MSNBC. Basically, he's challenging every Philadelphia, Michigan, Milwaukee, and some other places. These are the places where he lost the election by conglomeration of black votes. So that's where he's trying to challenge him and Rudy Sweat like a fox, Giuliani. So it ain't working too well. It ain't going too well. But that's his strategic aim.
Actually, it's gone very well. He will not become the president of the United States again, but he will, once he leaves office, be far more powerful with 74 million people who have voted for him,
30%.
who are at his command with a tweet. He can cause, and so he will be far more powerful, far more dangerous, having been read into, and I deal with the intelligence community quite often at the upper levels, having been read into most of the secret program. He can publish them all once he get out of office. And he can make a deal with Russia and trigger off all kinds of things. And so getting the man out of office is quite irrelevant. He's gone. But the real threat starts once he starts on Twitter with 74 million people who are in his cult or in his clan who will do his bidding, and the foreign influence of China, of Iran, of Russia on 74 million people. All you need is one. If you look at the Oklahoma City bombing, all you need is one.
Yeah, one nutcase. I was trying to figure out the moves that have been made, the failure to move forward with the transition, leaving the country exposed in this capacity, the willful and neglecting and actually firing of the pandemic team, which has already been there to offset the pandemics that they knew was coming. He knew it. Is just leaving this country exposed. He has no heart, no concern. It's almost as if I can only put it this way. How can I put it? A double agent, that's the way I feel, is in the White House. Treasonous behavior, and they just are afraid of him. What do you think about that?
You have
Well,
to be
with,
a brother. Okay.
I'm listening.
No. I thought that was a question for you, Brother Johnson.
Oh, okay. One thing he did do, he actually, with all the closeted bigots, he actually pulled the Band-Aid off on them and just let them go free. That's one thing I could say that he did do. He gave them the license to be open with their bigotry. And I have to thank him for that, because it really tells you how people really feel. My former mentor, my former boss that I worked for, a great man, he said this, and I quote, "A snake is a snake, be it be black or white, they both bite."
And that's true, but this particular enemy is different. Medgar, Dr. Reid, have you been through Green Spring Avenue here in Baltimore?
Green Spring or Green
Yes.
Mount?
Green Spring.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I don't know about you, but as I'm trying to drive the winding roads, I was really irritated by the fact that there are bike poles just come out of nowhere.
Yep.
They were not discussed. There was no signage. It's on the same street where the shelter was put in place without the neighborhood's consent. You can't now, if you go further down the road and go up a little bit, you can't do that kind of thing in Roland Park. They won't allow it.
No.
Because the upper class of white folks there will take you to task and will call the governor, get him on speed dial. But they assume that it's okay to dominate and take over territory. And this particular bike moor group of Buffy corporate types don't even live in the neighborhood. They live in the outside of the city. And your lifestyle that you want to come over into our territory, just like the Preakness and Pimlico racetrack, you can never get any type of dedication or police response. Anything on the lower Park Heights, and even that name is an issue. But in Upper Park Heights, they have all types of carte blanche. This is the most segregated city probably in America.
Yeah, I think a lot of cities will give it a run for its money. However, I think that, one of the old things that we all have to realize, Republican or Democrat, they both run on funds, on money, on cash. And so when we follow the money where the contributions have come from, one of the techniques that Karen Mitchell taught me when I was student government president at Coppin, he would say, do your research. And he would say, any politician, find out their top 5 donors. Don't bother writing the politician, write the donor.
No.
And you'll get the politician's action. Because they own the city. Mm-hmm.
I remember you telling me that, and my mouth fell open. I never forgot it. And so
that's true.
Yeah. I don't know here. It's very complex.
The movie Distinguished Gentleman tells you that.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember, Eddie Murphy's character in the Speaker of the House basically said, if you're willing to take this side of the aisle, I got these people that's going to fill your campaign. And it flip-flops. And the one who carries the most weight